Hi, 4th and 5th graders. My name is Deb, and I'm going to tell you about a few books that are some of our favorites here at the Book House. The first one is called How to Beat the Bully, and in this book, the boy Rodney is a self-proclaimed coward, and luck seems to kind of fall his way as he ends up with a reputation for being a tough guy, which comes in pretty handy against the school bully, Josh. And if you like this book, then you'll like its sequel, and there's also a third one in the group as well. You don't have to read them in any order in order to be able to enjoy them. But in The Call of the Bully, Rodney from the first book and the school bully, Josh, end up going to a camp together. This was a popular book from last year, and you'll find that as well as a couple of other favorites by the same author, Stuart Gibbs. He also has a new one out in hardcover called Space Case, and in this book, it's a kind of a kid detective story. It's on the moon, it's fast-paced, and it grabs you from page one, kind of like all of Stuart Gibbs. On to some Iowa Children's Choice books. Pets are kind of the theme of a lot of Iowa Children's Choice books this year. This one is called Pi, and it's by Sarah Weeks. The idea behind this story is Aunt Polly has died and has left her cat named Lardo to her niece. Her niece's name is Alice, and Lardo is the only one that has been given her world-famous pie recipe. Another pet book on the Iowa Children's Choice list this year is called Saving Zasha. This is set in Russia, right after World War II, and it's the story about a boy and this dog that he found right after World War II, and it's a German Shepherd dog. And he kind of has to keep this dog in hiding because the Russians aren't real keen on anything to do with Germany after the war, and so German Shepherds are one of those things that they're not too excited about having around, so he kind of has to keep this dog in hiding. Athlete versus Mathlete is another book on this year's Iowa Children's Choice Award book. This is a book about twins. One of them is highly interested in sports, basketball in particular, and the twin brother, though he likes sports, is really more of the academic kid, and he likes math. And as is usually the case with twin books, of course, there's a mix-up and some mishaps that happen in this book. There are also a couple of sequels with this book as well, so if you enjoy this book, you'll find a couple of sequels as well. If you're into more of the creepy side of books, this is this year's creepy book on the Iowa Children's Choice list. It's called The Ghosts of Greylock. And Greylock is an old abandoned building in this particular town, and it used to be a mental hospital for young children. And rumor has it that lots of patients kind of mysteriously and suspiciously got ill and died, and so now this building is abandoned, and when the new kid moves into town, he kind of wants to see what this building is all about. So creepiness galore in that book. And if you're into creepy, here is a book called Legend of Ghost Dog, and this one has eeriness that involves animals instead. Some favorite reads for girls. We've got a couple that are a little bit more on the serious side. This one is called One for the Murphys. Carly is a girl that's in foster care in this book. I think this book is pretty true to, probably some of the feelings that kids in foster care have. She's a little bit guarded and reserved. She kind of uses sarcasm and avoidance as her means to kind of protect herself. And she moves in with this family called the Murphys. And this family just pours on kindness and love to her, throughout thick and thin. And it's just a story of family and relationships. Hound Dog True is another book that's a little bit more kind of on the serious side. This is a story about a girl that is moving to a new school, kind of all the scariness that's involved with that. She's pretty nervous. Her uncle actually works at the school as a custodian. She kind of thinks if she has an in with him, kind of being his custodial apprentice, if you will, maybe that will kind of get her out of, eating in the lunchroom and hanging out with the kids at recess. So she's kind of got her own little plan in store. Home of the Brave is one of my favorite books that I read last year. It is about a boy named Keck, and he comes over to the United States from Africa. Of course, he doesn't speak the language very well. He doesn't understand a lot of our, references to things like the term, they'll eat you alive. He takes literally. He takes, the washing machine as the machine that washes everything from your clothes to even his aunt's dishes. Very good story, very quick read because it's kind of written in verse. It will help you really look at not only kids who move to your school in a different light, but definitely kids that move here from other countries. Very, very good book. This is a good book for girls that like soccer. It is written by Alex Morgan. She's an Olympic gold medalist, and so she knows a thing or two about soccer. It's called The Kicks. A little bit more on the lighter side of girls' reads, At Your Service and 30 Days of No Gossip. These are both books about school and friendship drama, not quite as heavy as some of the other books that I just showed you. Lots of kids have been waiting for this book called Sisters. This is a graphic novel, and in this book, Raina has been wishing for a little sister, for forever, and doesn't quite realize some of the trials that come along with having a little sister. And we are, I believe, up to number 8 in the Dork Diaries series. This one is called Tales from a Not So Happily Ever After. In this book, Nikki gets a bump on her head in gym class on April Fool's Day, and she finds herself and her friends as fairy tale characters. Moving on to a few nonfiction books, I'm going to start with sports. This one is called What Are the Chances? The Wildest Plays in Sports. And this one is called The Big Book of Who, All Stars. Both of these have lots of different trivia in them, from football trivia to hockey trivia, basketball, golf, baseball, all kinds of sports trivia in both of those books. This particular book is a Sports Illustrated book as well. It's called Side by Side, and it's professional football athletes, and they've taken 2 professional football athletes and kind of matched them up side by side and have given you statistics on both of the professional athletes on each page. This one's kind of timely, coming off of the World Series. It's called The Best of Everything Baseball Book. And of course you'll also find some good fiction sports books as well, such as this one by Tim Green called Perfect Season. You'll also find other Tim Green books and Mike Lupica, and of course some Matt Christopher books as well. There'll be some historical fiction books. I know that I Survived books have been a favorite of lots of kids. The new one that's out this year is called The Destruction of Pompeii. And you'll also find a few other I Survived books from previous seasons. And if you like those I Survived books, this is a compilation of I Survived, and this is more of the true story side. There's 5 epic disasters in this one, and there's little bits of information and photographs about actual events that had happened in history. This is a series called Dog Tags, and in this particular book, this one is during the time of the Confederate Army is when this one is set, and Andrew is too young to join the Army, though his older brother he's too young to join the Army, but instead, together with his dog Dash, he joins a group called the Home Guard, and what they do is they track down runaways and deserters, and he realizes that's just a little bit more tricky than tracking raccoons. This is a good nonfiction book. It's called Equipped for Battle, and this just displays various weaponry that has been used from the American Revolution all the way up to the Iraq War. Moving on to a few series books that are great series. This one is kind of a spooky tale, like the other ones that I had told you about, only this one seems to be a little bit more realistic. These are 12-year-old kids who have set up their own agency because the kids are the only ones that have the sight and the senses to be able to see the ghosts, and so they get hired by different homes to go in and to rid these evil spirits out of their homes. This series is called The Copernicus Legacy. It's The Forbidden Stone. This is book number 1 in this series, and it's by Tony Abbott. He is the man that wrote the Secrets of Droon series. This has clues and codes and puzzles to solve. It's one of those race against time to save themselves and to save the world. It's action, action, action packed. Book number 5 in this series is out. It's called The Blood Olympus. Keeping up with the fantasy genre, we've got books 1 and 2 in the Pegasus series. And if you are a fan of Erin Hunter, if you've liked her Warrior series, her Seeker series, she now has a series called Survivors, and the main characters in these books are dogs. You'll find books 1, 2, and 3 on this fair. Another series book that you'll find is called 13 Treasures. This is the first book in that series, and there are 3 books so far in this series. This is a book about fairies, and if fairies doesn't sound so intriguing to you, perhaps a book with mysteries with evil fairies will sound a little bit more intriguing to you. And a girl who vanished in the woods 50 years ago. Okay, moving on to some light, fun, easy reads, some quick reads. This one is called Benji Franklin. He is the first kid zillionaire. You may have seen Timmy Failure in the past. He is probably the world's worst kid detective. Well, this is book 1, and we've also got books 2 and 3. Kind of written in Diary of a Wimpy Kid fashion, lots of pictures, and easy print, easy font. Middle School, The Worst Years of My Life. This is by James Patterson. Another just kind of humorous, fast, and easy read. James Patterson is an excellent author. We've got a couple of books for Star Wars fans. These are kind of written, again, in more, a little bit graphic novel, kind of Diary of a Wimpy Kid style. The first one is called Jedi Academy, and the second one is The Return of the Padawan. Again, just very graphic novel looking with, pictures and word bubbles and things like that. Big Nate is another fun graphic novel. Lots of kids have been lining up for Minecraft books. You'll find plenty of these on your book fair as well to go along with that popular video game. The latest Stick Dog book is out. This one is called Stick Dog Chases a Pizza. And finally, last but not least, everyone has been waiting for the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. Fun orange cover. It's called The Long Haul. It'll provide you with lots of giggles, as all of Jeff Kinney's Diary of a Wimpy book have done in the past. Thanks for listening. We hope you find lots of great things. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.